Today I fucked up by accidentally eating marijuana edibles. TL, doctor, my fiance bought 60 milligrams peach rings. I woke up at around midnight with a sweet tooth, and ate 2 of them in a disoriented sleepy state. I had not ever done marijuana until that point, and I got very, very high. So, my fiance of 2 years is a marijuana consumer. She enjoys a good buzz after work, and I enjoy a glass of whiskey and a cigar once a month. That's just the way we are. She's happy, I'm happy. She had always wanted to get me stoned since our first date, since I had never tried marijuana, and I had always promised that our wedding night would be our first time getting high together. I include this information because I feel I need to emphasize how unprepared my body was for what happened to me. Yesterday, I got out of the hospital due to COVID complications. I am feeling about 80% normal, I'd say, congested, but normal, and I felt extremely exhausted, so I went to our bedroom and crashed out. When I awoke, the thirst in my mouth was sandy, and the heat from my body seemed almost leached entirely into the bed. So I got up, and looked at my phone, as you do, and I see that it's around 11:30 p.m. I walk into my kitchen, and I get myself a giant glass of cold water. My fiancée is on video calls with her friends in the living room. Foggy smoke fills the air. She has Oreos by her, but I am balls out naked, and if I were to go, her webcam would surely capture the schmeat and broadcast it to 4 women and a flamboyantly gay man enjoying their night. But I'm sleepy and I want sweets. So in my stupor, I open the snack cupboard, and grab peach rings. That's all the bag says on the top. Brand peach rings. I popped one in my mouth, and grabbed 2 more, and put the baggie back in the cabinet, and scuttled off. But after the second peach ring, the aftertaste was bitter. I figured they were just sugar-free, but because I have a mild allergic reaction to some sweeteners, I decided to go back to read the ingredients on the back of the package. On the front of the bag it actually says, brand, THC-infused peach rings, 60 milligrams. My initial thoughts weren't so abnormal. 60 milligrams sounds like nothing. Like if I took a 60 milligrams ibuprofen, that would barely be any ibuprofen, right? So my logic was that it would be like taking almost nothing. So I called my fiancée into the room with me, and I told her what happened. She told me to eat something right away. She ended up warming me up some Chef Boyardee ravioli, and sat me down at our dining table, and I pulled out my phone to watch something. Between bites of nuclear tomato sauce and super processed meat-filled pasta, I picked up my phone and went to type King of the Hill on Hulu. I got 3 letters in and suddenly it felt like I had just had my hand in the snow. You know that numb sensation that makes you feel like your hand is a lot fatter or wider than it is? I couldn't muster the dexterity to type anymore. Then I looked over to my fiancé, and it was like a laggy video game. I moved, but my vision didn't keep up with my movement. Like 30 seconds later I was mentally where my body was. I could only say what I felt in that moment, a long and whispery no. That got the attention of my lover, who looked at me and said, "How does your nose feel?" which cued me to touch my nose. It felt like it was feet away from my eyes. From here, my memory gets spotty, but here's how I remember the rest of the night. The time on my phone was now 12:45 a.m. My fiancé tells me to finish my food, and I did, but every bite felt it was minutes long. When I ate all of my ravioli, I said I wanted to go to bed. Suddenly I am in bed and I look at my phone. It's 12:50. This upset me. I remember trying to reason with my feelings, because I felt like it should have been much later. My fiancée comes into the bedroom. I ask her how I got there. She laughs. I blink. She's gone. I call for her. She's next to the bed now, and I get an overwhelming sense of dread in my gut and chest. Everything is spinning. She tells me I'll be okay, and touches my head. I close my eyes for what feels like a long while. I open them. She's still in the same position, over me, playing with my hair. It's 1:15 a.m., and I am relatively lucid, and paranoia is just barely getting his dick lubed up for me. At some point I wanted to cuddle with my woman, because I felt like I was somewhat safe when we were closely embraced. From this point forward, this is what she says happened. "You wanted me to cuddle, but your fever was so hot I couldn't just spoon you in good conscience. but you tucked your face into my neck and the rest of your body was diagonal across the bed. You asked how long the feeling would last. I told you that you weren't even at your peak yet, and you cried, which is so not you. You don't cry, which got me panicked. You asked me to read the back of the package to you, and when I got up to go get it, you stopped me and asked me where I was going. When I told you, you said okay. Then when I got back, you asked me where I went. You said thank you for the macaroni about 10 times, and I said you're welcome. But then I asked what macaroni your final time, which made you talk about how they don't eat meat sauce on their spaghetti in Italy. You told me that if you died of Rona, that you didn't want me to tell your mom and dad you did weed. You asked me to read a Wikipedia article about how to stop a weed overdose, which I couldn't find because it doesn't exist. I made you chew on black peppercorns, because it makes some people sober up, but you just kept saying you couldn't taste it. At about 22:30 AM, you just kept asking me how long it had been every 2 to 5 minutes, then you fell asleep, and you'd wake up and then wake me up periodically to tell me you think it's going away. And that's how it went for a few hours. Things I apparently hallucinated while awake and did not dream like I thought I did. The bed filling with water like a waterbed. My sisters coming over but hiding from me. My phone ringing. The window, second story, being tapped on. My dad coming in the room and saying things to me like I'm disappointed in you. The room moving in twisty ways, or like I was floating on a boat. In conclusion, it's now been 16 hours and I still feel a little off. My fiance says there are things she won't tell me about my time on my trip, things she wants to keep to herself. She says they aren't about her or me, but she thinks that they are a big part of who I am, and that she loves me even more because she says she has seen my realest self. Also, I was in hysterics at a few points in the night, and she doesn't want me to feel too embarrassed. Thanks for reading. Edit. This will be my only edit. Firstly, thank you for everyone that gave an award, the most I've ever gotten in my life. Secondly, I cannot express my love for every comment that I have received, and will receive. I am still coming down off of the edibles and this thread has taken me on a completely different trip of its own. A lot of you have stories, a lot of you have said some really encouraging things, some of you have skeptical takes, and all of these things are welcome. To discuss this moment of my life has been extremely rewarding. This is why we don't store edibles with regular food. Especially if there are children around. Lessons learned. And paranoia is barely getting his dick lubed up for me. Couldn't stop laughing. I hear you loud and clear, my dude. When I was in university I was going to go out to a club with my housemates. I thought that if I was going to be drinking I should probably have something to eat before leaving. I was feeling too lazy to cook, so one of my housemates offered me a plate of pot brownies. It is fair to say that my tolerance is quite low and I ate too many. I made it to the club, but by the time I had finished my first drink I was so disoriented and paranoid that I wanted nothing more than to go home and crawl into bed. I left and jogged the couple of miles home, the whole time paranoid that I was being followed by a giant carnivorous Mars bar. On other occasions I have knocked myself out cold and forgotten how to use my legs. Weed and I don't always get along, but once in a while it can be fun. Mars bars are the scariest and most predatory of the chocolate bars. Your description of the time distortions reminds me of how my dad found out that I got high. I came home super high, and my dad was watching a movie on TV. I forget what the movie was, but it seemed like a good idea, so I made myself a sandwich and sat down to watch with him. Well, I was eating that sandwich forever. Would take a bite and then chew and chew and chew and chew. Repeat. I felt like I'd been eating the sandwich for my entire life. Finally I turned to my dad and said, and I quote, "Dude, this is, like, the everlasting sandwich." He just looked at me, snickered, shook his head, and turned back to watch the movie. Today I fucked up by going too far with my superpower. Technically, yesterday I fucked up and today I am abundantly aware. I'm in quarantine after testing positive, and my mother currently lives with me, so I'm confined to a single 7*X9 room in my apartment. Needless to say, I'm running out of ways to occupy my time pretty quickly. Well, yesterday it happened. I lost all smell and taste. Weird, but at least it gave me something to do. I promptly drank black coffee, then moved on to greater challenges and ate an entire black licorice candy, anise is the devil's flavor, with no effect. Then I had an idea. What about spicy food? Now, I'm definitely really white, but I'm not. Jalapenos in chili is too spicy white. So I hopped online and went to my favorite Thai restaurant. I figure this'll be a last hurrah of sorts after I use my new superpower to kickstart the second half of my diet. For their green curry, they had a spice scale of low, medium, adventurous, and native Thai. While I did briefly consider native Thai, logic got the better of me and I went with adventurous. It was the weirdest experience ever. My entire body was sweating, my eyeballs were sweating. I could tell it was spicy and tell it was painful, but in this weird removed way where it didn't really matter. I also couldn't taste a damn thing. The only sensation I had was this sort of numb physical pain and a small voice saying, "I think pain means you're supposed to stop." At this point, my edible kicked in, and I've been locked in a single room for 5 days with 5 more to go, and this is by far the most exciting thing I had going on. So I doubled down. Ate the whole damn thing, amazed the entire time at my new abilities. Here we are the day after, and my delicate New England tummy is paying for yesterday's ego trip. My apartment only has 1 bathroom, and I have to coordinate trips with my mother so as not to put her at greater risk. I flew too close to the sun, folks. Too long, didn't read, lost sense of taste from Rona, got bored and high, ate crazy spicy Thai food, now everything hurts. Edit, thank you for the awards. And for reminding me that I can't taste any pie right now. Not even Thanksgiving pie. Second edit, because some people don't have good reading comprehension, not only did I get delivery, hence going online, but my mother, tested negative, is the one who picked it up from my building foyer and brought it to my door where I, while wearing a mask, picked it up and brought it inside my room because I'm quarantined in one single room in my apartment for 10 days. Another edit, guys, this is nuts. My most popular posts are of my cat and I get crazy excited when he gets, like, 2K likes. My baby is a star. Thank you for reading, and I'm glad so many people got a chuckle. I did not think as far ahead as I should have when I planned my experiment, but you all have been super nice and helped me kill quite a bit of time. And if anyone wants information on CDC recommendations and requirements for quarantining following a positive test, please contact them. That's what I did and have been following what they directly told me to do. If you have questions, they're a great resource. I left a message to self-report my results and they called me back a couple days after. So essentially your tongue was writing checks that your body couldn't cash. I'm stealing this for when I retell it to my friends. That is hilarious, and I hope you're able to tell this story many times in the future. Wishing you a speedy recovery. Thanks. Though now I definitely need to find a smarter way to occupy my time. Fun fact, spicy isn't really a taste so much as it's a glitch in your body caused by capsaicin molecules binding to pain receptors in your tongue. That's why you can still feel it even if you can't taste it. Exactly. If I get corona and lose my taste, I won't eat spicy food. I would have a hard time eating anything. I eat stuff for the taste. I'm scared I would go underfed. Today I fucked up by accidentally meowing for 2 straight minutes in my online class. So today in my bio class I was taking screenshots of the slides, and my teacher changed the slide too fast for me to take a picture, so I made a small distress noise. Little did I know that I had forgot to mute after my last question, and everyone in the class heard it. But my bio teacher thought it was a cat, and immediately said, "Is that a cat? Who brought their cat? Show your pets." And then I just died of laughter, because that sound was me, and it all came from because I forgot to mute my mic, because trust me, I would not have made that noise if I knew I was unmuted. If that wasn't worst enough, I then went on to a Discord server, and told everyone about what happened. To add to the story effect, I then tried to record the exact sound I made, which meant I was trying out different meows, but I still wasn't muted in the Google Meet. So everyone heard me meowing for 2 straight minutes. What makes that even worse is that I only knew I wasn't muted when I checked the group chat I had with my bio class, with my classmates asking me if I was okay, and that's when I realized I forgot to mute a second time. I honestly don't think I can live this one down. I may or may not have to switch schools lol. Too long didn't read, I meowed for 2 straight minutes unmuted in my Google Meet.